Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to be sharing with you uses for hydrogen peroxide on your houseplants, or this can be also done in your vegetable garden. I have done it there too several times. I've never done it on houseplants because I haven't had a lot of houseplants in my past, and now I do. And I'm having some with some issues on it. So go ahead and apply this to just any plants that you got. So first one I have here is a Dieffenbachia Camille, and I repotted it in this pot. So yeah, obviously it's not an aloe vera plant. It came with some the net pot or whatever that's supposed to be decomposable, but it didn't really decompose, and it was strangling the plant. And on top of that, the pot size was way too big for the root ball. So I pruned it back and just kept a few nice leaves that are on there. It's kind of dormant right now, but obviously it's got some new growth starting on it. So it should be okay. It doesn't look like it's declining anymore. Maybe this little baby leaf here, but we're going to try to keep it going. It's dried out right now, and it is like 90% dried out. Dieffenbachia does not want to dry out in between waterings, and they definitely don't want to stay wet either. So you got to find that perfect balance with this plant. So we're going to go ahead and mix up some peroxide and water. Since I know it was overwatered, it is susceptible to root rot. And believe it or not, rainwater has a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in it. Mixing some peroxide in your water when watering is going to do your plant some good. It provides oxygen to the roots, which plants love, hence one reason why they get root rot. There's like not enough airflow to the plant. And it helps them uptake nutrients better. So, but this is a little bit stronger of an application for like root rot, or you think you might be getting root rot or whatever. It's definitely not going to hurt your plant, but I wouldn't do it like that all the time because it could end up killing like mycorrhizae and beneficial bacteria and things like that in your soil. So we're going to go with 1 part hydrogen peroxide, and you could use whatever. I just have 1/4 cup here, but you could use whatever measuring apparatus you choose. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now we are going to pour in the water. So it's 2 parts water. All right, I'm going to give it a little swish so it mixes better. I'll stick my finger in there and swish it. Now I'm going to try to avoid the leaves and get into that soil. Let me hit it from the other side. All right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stick the rest on the bottom there. That way I'm top watering, bottom watering, watering all the way around. Yeah, that's obviously a bit much. It's a little bit, I'm wasting, quote unquote, wasting some water and peroxide there, but I just wanted to show you the ratio amount and all that. When I water plants, I like to top water them and let them sit in a little bit of pool of water like that and let them set for a few minutes, like maybe 5-10 minutes, and then dump it out. That way I make sure that it's getting well watered when it is being watered. Okay, the next application that I was talking about is mixing a little bit to water the plant. And it doesn't have to be a lot, and I don't have another drip tray available on me, or that's all the way in the kitchen to get another one. So this time I am just going to take the water, and I am simply just going to dump some in there, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Maybe a couple teaspoons in there. All right, now I'm going to put the lid on, give it a little shake. All right, good to go. Now I'm just going to do the same thing with this wandering Jew plant here. All right, and then the third application, which I'm going to go ahead and mist all the rest of these plants with it, but this snake plant here has some spots on it. I've hit it with neem oil and it's not doing anything. It's lost several leaves since I've had this plant, and I'm trying to rescue this bad boy. I don't know if it's systemic or what. Next time I water it, I'm going to water it with a 1:2 ratio of hydrogen peroxide to water as well, but it's not due for a watering. So, okay, so what I'm going to do about this guy is I just got this here spray bottle. I've washed it, it's clean, it doesn't have any of this other stuff left in it. And again, I'm just going to sprinkle or pour some peroxide in there. Not too terrible amount of, not too much of an amount. I can't talk. I'm a server and you should hear me talk to some tables sometimes. It's not really shaking because it's kind of full, so I'm going to try to stir it pretty good. All right, now let me give it some spray so that the peroxide can start coming up through the bottle. All right, now I'm going to go ahead. Don't do this with direct sun on the leaves. It'll end up burning your plant. And that goes for outside too. This is probably best to do in the evening in your vegetable garden, because then the sun will also make the hydrogen peroxide turn into water. Hydrogen peroxide is one more hydrogen or oxygen molecule than water. So water is H2O, hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. So that's just a little tip for you. Hydrogen peroxide is relatively safe for your plants because it's basically water, just a little bit fizzier. That does turn into water. That's why they keep them in dark containers like this and not like this, because come tomorrow, this is going to be pure water again. And again, I am using distilled water on all my plants. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just mist the rest of these with the hydrogen peroxide mixture I got here while I'm at it. I did want to give a little update on this application as I've used it, the watering application, the 1:2 ratio. This is a spider plant that was experiencing root rot, and I had it in a bigger porcelain container. Ended up experiencing root rot from beginner house plant person. I took it out of there, put it in a smaller plastic container until I got my 3-inch terracotta pots in the mail yesterday. But I did end up watering it when it was time to water again, according to my plant schedule, with the 2-to-1 application, and the plant has started to perk back up again. It's loving it. Also, this Belize rubber tree plant here was starting to look a little overwatered. I took it out of the bigger porcelain pot, put it in a terracotta, and when it was time to water, same thing. I watered it with the 1:2 ratio, and now the leaves are perking up. I've had no more leaf loss or anything like that. So this application does work really, really well. Obviously, there's some house plants that are just too far gone that you're not going to be able to save, but you're not going to hurt your plant by doing this once in a while whenever you see trouble. Again, I wouldn't recommend it for doing it all the time. Maybe if you just want to add a tablespoon or two per half gallon to a gallon when you're watering, that's totally fine. It's not going to really kill any fungus and bacteria in there, but there's beneficial fungus and bacteria in your soil that helps your plant thrive. So keep that in mind as well when doing this, which is better for my plant. Again, I thank you for coming by, and I love you, and so does Jesus. God bless.